Welcome to Hot Things Barbecue School. I'm Brian, and today we will be prepping up some beef ribs to put on the grill. First important step, sharp knife, right? Sharp knife, cold meat, marriage made in heaven. So we're gonna just start by skimming it in there, right? And just be patient, right? Because you don't want to be throwing away any more meat than you need to. And as far as beef ribs go, right, this is the challenge, is getting this off whilst reserving as much meat as you possibly can. And that's it. Now, there is a use case for this. I've seen some pit masters cook this over high heat after adding rub to it to make some beer snacks, but that's another video for another day. So what I have here before we put it on the grill is the day before we have kosher salt, right? We're gonna give this a covering to do what's called a dry brine, right? So from a distance, you just wanna get a good even covering of salt on all sides. Look at that marbling on these ribs. And we're gonna put this back in the refrigerator on a rack, on a table, uncovered for 24 hours, right? When you come back, there will be no evidence that salt was ever on this. The salt will have melted and been absorbed all the way through the meat, giving you a much juicier and tender bite once you get to that point. All right, now that we have these ribs trimmed up, right, we've got rid of that fat cap, we're gonna put a slather on them. The slather is 50% mustard, 50% hot sauce. So you don't need a lot. This is just to help the rub stick. You don't really need to put any on the backside. The little light dusting of salt, pepper, garlic, and then we're gonna go pretty heavy on the Rudy's barbecue rub. We're gonna get these beef ribs on. It's been about 15 minutes, that rub's starting to sweat. You can see that it's adhered to the meat. We're getting these on the pit barrel cooker. It's running at about 320 degrees Fahrenheit. We're gonna get them on and let them go for about 2 hours and see what they look like. So these beef ribs have been on for about 2 hours. We're just checking the progress and we can see signs of render. We got some meat pulling back nicely. We got some good color. I would say we give these another 30 minutes and they'll be ready to wrap. All right, so our beef ribs have been on for about 2 hours, 45 minutes. Lovely color. You can see that the rub is set and you can see signs of fat rendering by the meat pulling back from the ends of the bone. So at this point, you could eat these if you hated yourself. But what we're gonna do is get them tender. So we're gonna put some liquid in the alfoil, a little bit more rub, wrap them up and cook them maybe 2 hours. And if they're tender, we'll take them off and move to the next step. So they've been on, wrapped for 2 hours. So we're gonna get them out of the wrap. We're gonna do a little twist on beef ribs today. We're gonna turn them into burnt ends. So we're just gonna cut them away from the bone to begin with. And I'm not suggesting by any means that you throw this good eating away. But now, we'll take the meat that's left and we're gonna turn it into burnt ends. So just cut it into about 1-inch cubes, give it a rotate, cut them across again. Now we have lovely cubes of juicy meat. We're gonna drop those in the pan. Take that pan, shake a bit more rub over it. And after the rub, drizzle some sauce, give them a toss. And now back on the grill for about another 15 minutes, just long enough to get this sauce to set. The beef ribs are finished. They've been on for 15 minutes with the sauce, just so that sauce started to reduce just the smallest amount and give a bit of a glaze on the ribs. So now we have some beef ribs that they'd be proud of in Kansas City. You know, to sum up what we've done, we put them on the pit barrel cooker naked, meaning no wrap, no nothing, just meat and smoke for 2 hours, 2.5 hours-ish. Then we wrapped them in alfoil with a bit of apple cider vinegar and let them go for about 1.5 hours. We took them out of the wrap, diced it up, put it back on the grill and finished them up so the sauce would make a nice glaze on the outside of these burnt ends. And now it's time to get to eating. Thanks for coming. If you enjoyed this video, come see us in Perth at Hot Things Barbecue School.